I just went and picked up a couple spare Volkswagen tires for the dune buggies. This tire was a brand new rim and tire, but sat outside for the longest time. Guy also gave me a free rim. I paid 80 bucks for the three, so that's not too bad. This one cost him a lot more because it was brand new that he ordered online, but but just so I have something for a roller, it's good to get them. Well, just went and picked up another truckload of wood to start filling this in. I don't know if I'm freaking Asian beetles everywhere, the ladybug looking things. Sure, was saying I just vacuumed up like 30 of them out of the, or maybe 300 of them that were getting into the front deck. But yeah, just got to decide here how I want to do it. Again, nothing's really a traditional style, and I got to decide, do I want them vented or do I not want them vented? Thinking for now I'm going to start up here and see what I could do up here. You know, I told you I was going to shoot you. You know that, right? Really? Really? You don't say. Where are you going to go? He was actually up in the tarp on the shed. Well, just gave that a top trim. Same thing I gotta do on this side. Trimmed off all the top. Just used an angle grinder and a metal cutting disc. A little sketchy around the face doing that, but I mean, at the same time, it worked. Now I'll shove a 2x4 up there. And again, it's not going to be 100% proper, but it should be good enough, I think. We'll have to wait and see, I guess. But looks okay. Besides the fact that I can see one little screw up where I took the grinder and made a mark. Where is it? Well, I mean, it doesn't. There you go. You can see the little marks up in there. Have to get some green touch-up paint. But that trim, J trim, fits pretty good up there. Going to have to literally do the same thing, cut all the way along there for something for the soffits to sit onto. The garage portion, I think I'm going to go plywood, or maybe I'll just use this metal right here. I'll cut strips of this steel and go with metal. I'm not sure yet. The greenhouse portion, that's going to have to be vented for sure. Oh, looking a little bit better anyway. I got the J channel put in, cut. I do got to get the flashing for the roof still to go over the metal, but it's a pretty crazy thunder starting. Just cutting out a center square right here. That's going to go into the center there. It's going to be recessed in because that's where a camera is going to go. It's kind of why the hood's sticking up there. So I'll be putting a camera up in there. But again, metal is going to cover those 2x4s. It's just for now, it's easier just to paint them and put them up. I do got to still, either this year I got to fill those in with wood in between every one of them, or I got to get the metal channeling. Wood is cheaper for this year. Don't know which way I'm going to go. I'm going to call it that. It doesn't look that bad, but it also doesn't look that good. That's what I'm calling it. Again, that's just temporary until I buy the metal. Seal it off for this year. The reason why I'm not ordering the metal right now is because there's a minimum order to order from that company to get a decent deal. So I'm going to wait, but that's not bad. I'm into that for, probably 4.5, 5 hours, which seems like a lot of time, but I had to decide how I'm going to do it. So the J trim makes it look so much nicer. I could put another piece of plywood in there and bring that level, but I'm going to wait because that's going to be where I mount the camera. So I left the J trim on this side a little longer, left the 2x4 longer because I have no clue yet how I'm finishing this. Have to figure that out. I think I'm just going to get the foam enclosure strips to put a strip across here and then screw a J channel right into it for the soffits and fascia area. So I think that's how I'm going to do that because I don't want to cut that much more tin again. Ooh, shade. It's about plus 30 outside today, so it's definitely a little bit warm. Holy Shroom City everywhere. Those ones look a little magical. They're growing everywhere, and look at this. These ones are little frostbitten ink caps, they're called, right? Yeah.
No, they could be shaggy manes too.
They are edible. But
Go for it.
no. No.
Just remember, I don't know how to drive you stick, so I can't take it off.
Those ones are a little too inky looking for me. Well, I don't see no little death skirt on these guys. Normally there's a little death skirt, but yeah. Looks, ooh. Showing there's no little skirt on here, so they're not those death ones, but look at them just growing everywhere, hey? Can you see that I ran over shit and must have dragged it back with the tractor? Look in front here. Look at these guys, hey? They are just everywhere. Poo-poo. Do you not see him? Poo-poo. He's in the trailer. Roxy, you were just looking at him. You see him? You'll hurt yourself if you jump up there, poo-poo. Wait, it's the same one, right? Wow, I can feel Roxy breathing through the leash. Give her a little more slack. You don't want to eat that thing? Okay, so he probably has a nest in the trailer, which is to be expected. But I guess that's better than the Land Cruiser and better than the shed. Well, I guess I'm going to start on the boards on the front there. Got the mushroom farm happening here. Pretty sure they're shaggy manes. That's what they look like. Hey, something ripped that one up. That's what they look like before they turn to the black inky mess. So, like those ones are. Because those were not that color a few days ago. We just had another one coming up there. Tons of them around here. Those ones look good. Couple of them under there. And all throughout back here. It's coming up everywhere. Big wolfie print underneath the tire. But I don't know. For those shaggy manes, that's kind of what they look like to me. I'm not going to eat them, but that's crazy. Must be a piece of rotting wood. Big chunk under there. If that is guaranteed what they are, I'm going to look them up after. Might be worth digging out the rotten board and digging out the base of every single one of these and move them into like a pail somewhere so they continue to grow. Oh, my eyes, that's a little dim feeling, but I was playing around with Liliana yesterday making some random boxes. So, and a little dusty here, but I got a scented little job site leaf blower, which is like more for blowing off tools than anything, but I'm going to use that to clean all this off after, get that on a separate review video. But got all my lumber here, so, and of course I forgot my smokes in the house, but gotta get to work. And sure enough, I killed all my batteries from my DeWalt. I'm sure of it yesterday, so pretty sure I'm going to have to go charge some batteries up, and then not sure exactly how I'm going to do those end boards yet. If I'm going to put them right on the very end or if I'm going to cut each one. Not sure again. Oh, that's how I'm going to do it. Some of those rafters aren't the straightest. That's not my cut, that's the rafter twisting. But you can see those ones are twisted slightly too. But not that big of a deal. The idea is I'm going to take the oscillating tool. I'm going to cut from both sides of each one of these, cut them off. And then later on, metal is going to go underneath the tin, up at the top, curve down, and then under. And then for the back wall, I could either cut that metal, or I'm thinking I'm going to get a foam enclosure strip designed to go on that, on the painted side. And then I'm going to put my J trim, I guess, to hold the small little tiny soffit material that I'm going to need there. I don't even know how long yet, but I'm thinking actually for the roof I might just use tin. Yeah, just I could flip it upside down if I want it to be gray or white on the inside. So I don't know if these were, yeah, these were white on the inside, I think. I can't remember, but for this year I might end up leaving those open. I'm just worried about the ends. But mind you, if wind still hits, wind and snow is still going to go up and around. I'm not 100% worried about them being exactly perfect. But I'm lining up with that top 2x6 that runs the length of the garage. Because that's pretty much the only thing that I pulled straight with the string line. I kind of figured at the end, of course, every single one of these would have had to been trimmed. But the idea originally was to trim the ones that need to, put a board on the outside of them. The problem is, in my opinion, the metal doesn't overhang enough. You can see I could get a board there, but then there'd be exactly no overhang, and I do want that overhang. I want it to go into the eaves troughs if I decide to put eaves troughs on here for water collection to water everything. So I don't want a chance not having that space. I'm definitely going to say those boards are not 100% the straightest. But once these troughs are up there, will anyone see it? Most likely. That's a pain in the ass. Because some of those rafters were twisted. I had to cut the boards all a little bit bigger, you could say, and hammer them into place to try to straighten out most of them. Well, I'm looking also here. You see here? Between here, there's a whole strip. One 2x6 was a little bit higher than the other ones. You can really see that on a certain angle. I'm not sure how well that's showing up, but it's when I built the garage. It's because of those damn 6x6 poles. They were all different sizes. I did plane them down when I put on this, what's it called? Skirting? Not skirting, purlins, I guess. So you can also see that one there was a little bit sticking out, but going over those damn 6x6s kind of left some marks on my garage. I'm not the happiest about that, but at the same time, I seen that after we put them up, it kind of sucked, but you only really notice it in a frosty morning. But so I got roughly about a foot to put in on the bottom now. I got to decide if I want to just cut up my scrap metal that I have there for the garage portion, and the greenhouse portion will be vented, but the garage is going to be solid. I'm not going to vent it because I'm not going to be doing an attic, you could say. So and then I got to decide what I'm going to do here. So my idea is just to screw on end a 2x6 right on the end of those, and metal will overhang still about 1.5 inches, but I'm pretty sure that will be hidden with the trim, but I might have to cut the metal down. Not too sure yet. Oh, can you say a little frosty? Yep, a little cold this morning, that's for sure. I had to turn on my camera. So nice and frosty this morning. And do you guys see the fog up ahead? I'll zoom in here a bit. Can you see it yet? Just right across the whole road right there. And if you look at it, that's pretty crazy. So just thought I'd kind of get a shot of that. It's now another weekend, going to work on the front. But they got a load of garbage there. It's going to the dump. Not the dolly. So much garbage, and I can't even get past it. Come on. But Got a bunch of other shit that I gotta get done. And don't know yet what I'm gonna do first, but maybe smoke my cheap Cuban cigar. Kind of cheap anyway. But definitely got to get some cleaning done. That's for sure. Still thinking of putting up the back shelf. Not too sure, but gonna definitely smoke this guy first and then decide. Okay, so it's a new weekend and gotta finish up the garage. Not sure yet what I'm going to do in here, but when I say finish the garage, I'm only talking when I started. But got a bunch of boards there, got a bunch of boards here, got to clean up everything, got to get the snow blowers ready because we already had a little bit of a sprinkle of snow, but it was gone immediately. But still got a lot of light coming in there. I got all these triangle shapes here that I might use as temporary blocking plates just for the winter. Might work. Well, that definitely is not going to stay like that, but it's going to stay like that for this winter. So just zigzagged the boards across there. Again, they're all, you know, a little bit triangle shape, I guess you could say. They stick out, they look like crap, but I only got a couple screws in each one. They don't line up very good. But for this winter, hopefully it keeps some of the snow out. Some snow is still going to go up in those holes up there. But that's because I don't have the foam flashing in there yet. Not until I get the drip edge. So, and again, that's going to all wait till next year. Running out of time already. Hunting season starting next week. Well, just making a load to the dump. And not going to bring it to the scrapyard. Just normal dump. And I was going to keep the recoil off this guy, but she turns over. Watch the water come out of that air filter. Can you see that? There's enough water in the engine. The funny thing is, I left that uncovered for 2 years. And she broke free with my hand. Again, there's nothing wrong with this thing. It was running, but the deck is has a hole blown in it from taking down trees. So I was just going to keep the recoil, maybe the fuel cap, because it might fit something else in the future. So I did run her out of fuel when I stored her. But, you know, these things are getting hard to find. Gotta watch out the oil doesn't start pouring out of her, because that oil cap barely stays on there. The oil is filled with water, the crankcase. But for some reason, you know, these are good engines. What was this one, a Suzuki or a Kawasaki? I can't remember what brand engine was on this one. But at the same time, I was thinking of keeping the exhaust off it because super quiet. It's a model SP, so I can't remember which engine that was. But do I keep the engine? Do I dump it? I don't know. And what's nice about this machine, it actually has a blade clutch, so you can actually stop the blade from spinning. So right now I am not turning over the engine. Plastic's pretty cracked up on it, but the rear drive was getting weak, so probably the belt's broken in there, but you can see the hole right there. And I think that's the only hole, to be honest. But at the same time, the rear drive gearbox, something was a little bit screwy, but it might just been out of alignment. It's hard to say, or out of adjustment, I should say. Do I scrap it? I don't know. Well, I can see there's no compression on her anymore. Spinning both directions. So I'm going to guess valve stuck. She did get a little bit of compression for a second, but water's still just pouring out of her. Well, it's the same fuel cap as this guy. The only problem is this one here is very vented and a hole right in it. This one here is vented too, by the looks of it, but I don't know where the vent comes out. Oh, right there on the side. Vent works. There we go. Bowman's gets a fuel tank upgrade. So this one is going to dirty old parts bin. So, oh, this one's even cracked on the side. Or do I just throw this one away? Because look at it. Nah, I'm a hoarder. I'll keep it. Well, I decided to pull this guy finally out of the junk pile. Removed the electric 3-point. Chances are the motor shot because that's what happens with all of them. But that was a bitch to get off. Broke 2 bolts. And of course one of them had to break. Flush melt right in here. Look at that. It's literally like fused to it. But yeah, Motomower. That's the brand. So this wasn't a roper. That's interesting. So not a big deal. They're all the same as the Sears. So this one here, the reason the guy stopped using it is wiring issues. Well, I mean, half the shit's disconnected from it. So chances are I'm just going to get rid of that engine. Probably runs actually fine. Maybe I'll bench test it, but the idea is I bought it just for the rear end, and it came with a bunch of attachments I needed, so that's pretty much it. Well, just quickly yanked out the switch and the wiring harness. It wasn't even hooked up, but it looks like he had it hooked up to go to the battery. So that's kind of bent out of shape there, but do I hook it to a battery or do I not? I kind of think I shouldn't. I think I should really pull it apart first, but I don't know. We'll see. And I just hooked it up to the battery real quick. Of course, it's dead. Makes sense. It's actually been welded. The whole top of this has been welded back on before. I'm not sure if that's showing up, but motor shot. Could be a bad connection right here, but I'm going to call it the motor shot. Like, they all do that. I could get a whole new assembly for about 200 bucks. My local Princess Auto. Just have to do some measuring and make sure it's going to be what I need, you could say. But some kind of, oh, that's just a cotter pin to remove it. Oh, that would have been handy for some people to know. Remove it for the winter. Don't let it sit on the tractor. Hey, you know, 2 pins, take it off, unhook it, bring it inside for the winter. It would have saved a lot of people from having hassles over the years. Well, that kind of sucks. Kind of figured out it wasn't going to be any good. Just moved the rotor tiller there, the snow blowers behind the Sears, and started cleaning out this corner here, because that's where the tent frame here is going to go. So starting to stack all my junk over there to the hoard pile, and slowly going to start moving all the junk from here. What a hassle. Wait, what a hassle with a loader that doesn't have an engine. Would have been better if I would have left it, because then at least I had forward gears. But no, I had to move it over to a different Sears and then get too lazy to put on the loader frame. Fricker. You're just playing games with me now, aren't you? He was literally standing right there. Popped out when I was standing here. I could have peed on you. That would have been bad. I guess he's gone.
I'll say that. You get that squirrel. Did you lose him?
Oh, you chicken shit. Are you kidding me? Like, come on. Like, what are you doing? Like, you think this is your new home? Hey? Is this your new home? I mean, I prefer you not to be in the woodshed. Hey, what did I just tell you? Chippy, what did I just tell you? Hey. Hey, you're eating my wood. Squirrel. Are you going to make your nest in the wood pile? Do I need to come grab you by the tail and drag you out of here? Hey, Chippy. If I had a glove, I'd just grab you right now and drag you out of here. Oh, he's back right in there. Are you just playing games with me now? Oh, I think he just ran out. You see his shadow still. Oh, he's back. Hey. Hey, what are you doing up there? You don't think I still see you, right? Hey, Chippy. I see you coming back down. Chippy. Sounds like he's running on the outside now. Had 2 cords of wood delivered, but it's raining outside right now. Oh, there's 2 of them. Are you kidding me? Did you just tell all your friends to come and play in the wood pile? I mean, oh, they just ran that way. I mean, if you want to live under here, live under here. Hey? I mean, I could just almost reach you. These things are not afraid of much. I mean, I'd rather have squirrels, I'm going to say it, than mice. I just heard them. They're back in here. Or maybe he's just running on the back of it. A lot of people out on quads. There you are. I mean, I could just throw a stick at you. Would you want me to throw a stick? Maybe I can hurt you. Here, I'll throw a small one. How's this one? If I hit you, you're dead? Oh, you're lucky. I don't want to actually hit them. I just want to scare them away from here. So that never actually hit them. But I mean, it came damn close to them. Even if it would have hit them, it wouldn't have probably hurt them much. But maybe they'll kind of get the idea to, you know, vacate. Or they'll get upset and angry and start attacking me and chewing on my fingers. Wow. That's some squirrel food right there. Oh, you bastard. I gotta get a cat. I swear he just went back in here. Now I gotta remember, there's more than one of them. I mean, they could be making a nest anywhere in here. Where did you go? Chippy. Oh, he's up in the Land Cruiser parts. Hey, what did I just tell you? Shoot. I do got a pellet pistol. He just ducked into the corner. Just going to clean your ass up there, hey? He's not done. Any of them making a nest up here yet? No, but that's where I thought they would. Did you just literally come right back in? They like the shed for some reason. More mushrooms growing on the front of it. Oh, there he is. You're the one that's not afraid of me, aren't you? I mean, you want to make a home in the snowblower? You can do that. I think he just... Oh. Yeah, I think he's under here now. Okay, well. You think they would get the point and leave, but, you know, they're not going to. Well, I decided to take out the old pellet gun. Well, it's hunting season starting tomorrow, and never want that to happen during hunting season. 2 shots and the scope fell off. So that guy there is done. He left a nice trail across the transmission there. Not going to zoom in. Probably not going to put this on Facebook or YouTube. I got another one that's down over there, but yeah, I was wondering what accuracy went to shit. So, and there's about 3 other ones. But yeah, well, hopefully that keeps the Land Cruiser safe, but I think I should put on the scope again. Yeah, that just destroyed that rail. Look at that. That's not going back on. Probably focus better like that. Yep. Well, this one muzzleloader scope, but I can tell you one thing. Definitely the rings did not hold up. That sucks. But it did the trick. Let's just say I'm not going to show it, but the chipmunk project or problem is now gone. Mr. 22 cal pellet took them out nicely, quickly, and the only thing is, the last squirrel, I literally had to use no scope and pretend this is a squirrel. The barrel was about that far from him, and it did the trick. Holy, I was gone for less than 2 hours, and the deer just came and smashed the shit out of those pumpkins. Left a couple pieces. I went to get 4 sheets of plywood, a couple 2x4s, and yeah, we got a little snow. Yeah, that looks like it's going to fall on my head. Frickin', I'm loading this stuff up, and I'm like, I'm going to move the truck up a few feet from the lumber store. I moved the wood up about this far from their building, and then bam, so much snow came falling. You think someone would say, hey, you might want to move up your truck, but no, I decided looking at it that was going to happen. So that's stuff to build a door, a temporary door. Again, I got my hinges on here. I'm going to see if I can find a 3rd hinge for each side. I just got to decide, do I want to make one side bigger than the others? Like, I'm kind of thinking maybe I should do one side 7 and then 3 feet. I don't know. Or I got 10 foot 6 inches to do, but I don't know. A few different ideas, and then I also got to do this door after too. Well, there's the pieces cut for my door. Those are pretty rough plywood. This is the rougher side here, but they say nice on one side, but it's almost like the glue they used isn't the normal waterproof glue. It flakes really easy, and then they got not sure if you see it on this piece here, but look at that. That's like freaking putty on there. It's like, yeah, they puttied over it. I don't know. Cheap plywood. So got my parts cut here. It's cut to the exact size, so the door's not going to open without binding. So I left it like that on purpose because I want it to overlap, you could say. Explain that once I get to it, but these doors are going to be 5 foot 2 inches each this way, and 7'5" or so tall. So yeah, a little bit tall, but should work pretty good. Well, today is the day going to put up the plywood door. I just went to snagged 2 more of these hinges. I had these ones on my shed, so they're a little rusty, a little crusty, but they're going to work for now. So I'll have 3 of these on each side. I got 2 already on each side. This one's already was installed with a cheap ass trim put on it, but of course I gotta redo the trim, but that trim was just my rough cut one anyway. Now for the 3rd hinge, I got this guy in the way that I'm going to have to put the hinge a little bit higher. Probably better higher than lower, of course. I was actually thinking maybe putting the 2nd hinge up here because of the hanging weight, but I think I'll just go right there. I think that's going to be the best way to do it, but Don't know if I'll film anything, but I'll show when it's done. Today is, well, it's about -2 outside Celsius, and tomorrow's meant to be high of +10. So tomorrow I can stain it if I get it all put up before then. Whew, looks like a dirty mess right now, but that's one panel that I'm just adding on the extension, and it sucks. All the 2x4s, all the wood that I bought yesterday, besides the 2x6s, those were a week ago, is wet. It's cold, and of course the stain's not going to dry, and I had an issue here where the wood started to bubble up. Literally, they're patches from the plywood company. They have, you can see the white spot there. It's like putty they put on the plywood right there, and it bubbles to shit. So I had to buzz that down with the sander and redo it. But overall, the plywood is pretty shitty, and it's like, is there even waterproof glue in this stuff? Because it's I never had plywood before that you could literally take your fingers and peel it. And I mean, that's everywhere. Like, I can, it's like, I'm kind of thinking that this plywood, again, has no waterproof glue in it. It's, like, hollow in spots, too. It's, and it wasn't cheap. It was $65. $65 a sheet. And it's, what is that, 1/2 inch? It's like, oh, man, should have bought 3/4. I buy it, I put it on the truck, and then I see they had nice, perfect 3/4. And I was like, oh. But, you know, I guess it's going to have to be the way it is, but I'll probably end up having to put a coat of paint on it later. We'll see. Just finishing doing up my door, and then don't know if I'm going to do a cross pattern. I won't really need to, in my opinion, but we'll see. Well, it's now Sunday, and it's like +4 outside. Meant to get a lot warmer. A little bit of snow just went flying off there. I don't have any snow stops on this side, but I'm going to take a 2x4 and poke it. Good thing is there's no ice. Well, little to no ice. But idea is to get up the doors. I don't know if I filmed. Of course, I don't have the light on in here yet. But got the door there and a door there. Ready to go on. And they are oversized, as in I'm going to have to take the belt sander. And I guess the stain did dry. A little tacky. Going to have to take the belt sander to get a perfect fit. But you want to turn on the light? Gonna screw two 2x4s together to try to scratch the shit out of the roof, I think. We'll see how that goes. Holy crap, all my snow's disappearing faster than anything. What's going on? Yeah, it's meant to be like +5, +6 all week. Well, it fell off the greenhouse the rest of the snow, but not here. But I'm going to put up the door anyway and just get dripped on. Fun, hey? I think that's a pretty good fit for just pulling the sides out of my ass. Okay, give it a open. They're hitting my tarp up top there, but a little bit tight on the top, but...
Can't open this one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you gotta do that before we can check the fit.
Yeah, we'll see. Okay, looks like they're lined up perfectly, and I gotta drill a hole in the bottom, have a piece of rebar that always drags the ground, where you gotta lift them so they don't get blown in the wind. Do you want to close that one? They actually a little bit snug on the top. I got some stain coming out. Never get your digits stuck in between those, but a little bit snugger at the top. But overall, I'm pretty sure that's like damn near a perfect fit. The reason why it's snugger at the top is what?
Getting rained on.
Oh, yeah, that kind of sucks.
You're a little wet too.
Oh yeah. You only got shitty metal screws in them here. I'm going to switch those to GRKs in a few seconds, and then I'm going to also put on a center set of hinges. It's just I could have the door in place before I put on the last set of hinges. And I wanted to see if I was going to get any sag. Now, these are auto-closing hinges, so I can pin them and spring them. So, but at the same time, I think they only close one direction. These guys here, the tensioners on the bottom, those ones is on the top, so I think they would only go one direction. One will be forced open, one will be forced shut, or maybe you could pull in both directions. I don't think I'm going to use that, but overall, yeah, it's a pretty damn good fit. This gap here will be solved. I actually had a board behind here, and I took it off, So I had a 2x4 right here. Do you want to close it for a second? Turn on my light. I had a 2x4 right here, just sitting in there, this guy, and I just took it off, but got a screw sticking out of it still, but this 2x4 is going to go, maybe I'll get a 2x3 so it doesn't stick out, but it's going to go right on there, stop any snow from coming in. Go buy 2x3s, or do I rip this one on the table saw? I don't know, because otherwise, yeah, there's a little bit of light gap there, but will be fine. Underneath, I got a good coverage. Got a good gap in between there. Huh?
There is a bit of pressure blowing out from the wind pressure.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, we're going to need 2x3s to make this look good, I think. So, otherwise their 2x4s are going to stick out. Unless I just put the 2x4 on the doors themselves. That might work. A 2x4 or a 2x6 on the door, maybe. Where's that scrap 2x6? That'll make it heavier, but then I could put bigger lag screws through. Do it like that to close.
I think a 2x4 would be sufficient.
Yeah, 2x4 might actually fit better.
It's a lot better.
Try opening the door. It shouldn't catch on anything. No, nothing. So that might be an idea. Let's do that. And then there's even more material. Put longer GRKs through the hinges. But it's adding more weight. But the weight would only be on one side. Drill a hole to put a piece of rebar through here.
Mm-hmm.
Stitch the door shut.
What do you mean? I want one of those big heavy dogs that you just put across the whole thing.
And as for this, yes, I'm going to be putting a 2x4 across here. And then don't know if I'm going to do an X pattern because it's plywood, it's not going to shift. But definitely to cover that gap, I'm going to put a piece of 2x4. This one has way less gap because I ratchet strapped it, but there's still a gap. But hey, that's kind of better than a tarp. And guess what? The tarp's still there. I can double it up. Well, these are what I'm going to replace with the hinges. And I'm going to use also 2 of these on each top hinge. Should be solid. GRK brand. So should be pretty good. And I got 2 more hinges to put on after. They're a little rusty, crusty, but they should work good. And I was thinking of using washers originally and the factory hardware. The factory hardware is those bolts there, but decided no, I'm just going to use GRKs. Well, I think I figured out why these hinges were so cheap. So there's a big coil spring in here, and there's this guy here. The only way I can see them working is this would have to be welded across once you get tension. I don't see any screw holes in there, and it came with 2 screw for each hinge, which fits nothing. But this is the hardware kit bags again, and yeah, 2 screws came in each one that I don't see a use for them. They don't literally fit anything. So I was playing around with an Allen key, and I can preload it with an Allen key, but I would literally have to like find a way to hold a key in there. So I think I'd have to tension it and literally tack weld the hinges. But that's why they're $5 for a pair of hinges. And I mean, there's 2 hinges. I don't think I need the 3rd one on there, but I am going to do a 3rd one on each side. But right now they're kind of blowing in the wind, open and closed. I got something just propping them up. That one hits a snowbank. The other one hits a battery, one of those big guys. And just kind of don't want them actually staying shut. My idea is to drill holes and put like a chunk of rebar that drags the ground on them, like a hooked piece of rebar. Just metal bracket or drill through the wood. Drilling through the wood would probably be fine because then I'd prop it in one direction. But for now, I'm not too sure. All I know is that it's a pain in the ass working on them because it is dripping like crazy. And the idea, yes, there's a big gap at the bottom, but as you can see, there's going to be a lot of ice there. And the idea is I'm going to take 1.5 inch PVC pipe and I'm going to cut them so they just drag the ground with a piece of rebar through them. So they're self-adjusting, and that should hopefully keep the snow from drifting in. Again, I'm not too worried about that right now. It's I could still put the tarp up if I need to, or down, I mean. Well, I found some little pins. Okay, well, I just dumped out some more bags. I found 4 pins. So that makes more sense after I took this all apart. The hinge, you can see the big ass coil spring in there. So it makes sense now. You got to preload it with, I guess, a tool and then shove a pin in. Well, what's going to stop that pin from falling out? I don't know. Guess spring tension would make sense. But I guess I'll get two round screwdrivers. I got some broken off ones. I'll tension it like a garage door. Push in a pin and we'll see. Again, I just want to stop them from slamming in the wind. I don't want them to be self-closing. I just want them to have a little bit of tension on them. That's all. Well, the auto-closing feature works pretty good. Figured out how that worked with the pin. I have them just not so tight yet, but they're definitely a lot weaker of a setting right now, but I mean, it works pretty good. Got my redneck lock on the door for now. Just put a lock between there, big GRKs into it. So temporary, just for today. Just wrap that around them. One of these on each sides. Still got the cat cable I buried in that corner. So that's going to go to an alarm sensor, but it can't be a sensor on this door until it's sturdy. So it's just going to stick with the motion detector and the camera for now, but should be pretty good. Again, that aluminum's catching it, but they do rub slightly. So only at one spot on the top. And the reason why one's coming in more than the other is the one door is hitting that hook right there, the metal hook. You see it. So again, the old door is still there. I can open these doors, unwrap that, cover it, and have a little bit extra space if I need. Use the doors as a wall, you know, get a bigger vehicle in here, but still got a lot of a mess to clean up. And I'm thinking that's where I'm going to leave it for today. I'm going to pick up 2x3s for the trim. I don't want to take out the table saw just to do 3 boards. Top one, side ones. The bottom, again, I'm going to use 1.5 PVC conduit, and it's just going to be hooked, rebar hooked into it and then strapped on the door so it kind of drags and it will roll. That's just the idea I have, just to keep any kind of rodents out and anything until I can actually get the ground at a proper level. Because right now, of course, rodents can still come in. Talk about that. Proxy just caught a bird. Yes. No longer alive, the bird, but those kind of rodents. Don't need birds coming in here, but should be pretty good. But such a mess to clean up. And as for this auger here, for that Boland's snowblower, I don't think I'm going to do anything with that guy. I really don't. I think it's going to be turned into a plow. I'm done for today.